name is Danny Banchev. I'm the founder of the Off Porn Academy, and I was addicted to porn for 10 years of my life. At the peak of it, I was jerking off to porn 5 times per day. It almost feels like I'm talking about a past life now or a different person, but it's true. I've cheated on girlfriends online, I've jerked off in public places, hidden public places like bathrooms, and I've even bleeded a few times. Now today, I could proudly brag about the fact I've managed to be off porn for periods of more than a year in a row, or I've managed to get NoFap streaks of more than 100 days in a row, but that wouldn't matter because I finally decided to give up on NoFap for good. This is the best decision I've ever made, and today I'm going to share with you 2 reasons why NoFap is killing you and 4 steps to break free for good. So the next few minutes will be separated into 3 different sections. In the first one, I'm going to ask you some questions, challenge you a little bit. Then in the second section, we're going to cover the reasons why NoFap is ruining the lives of millions of men. And in the last section, we're going to cover 4 steps on how you can break free for good starting today. So let me ask you a question. How many times have you promised yourself to never ever masturbate ever again? I know I've made that promise way too many times. Next question, how many times did you actually keep it? Unless you're a Buddhist monk watching my videos from the mountains right now, which much love to you, I respect y'all. Chances are the answer is not very many. But that's the thing, don't you see how the real issue here might not be the act of jerking off itself, but rather the fact you keep on losing trust in your own words. I call this the all or nothing fallacy, and if you're still watching this, most likely that's the reason behind your suffering on this journey. There are 2 problematic beliefs that seem to be prevalent in the NoFap space. Number 1, porn and masturbation have no inherent value. Guys, let me destroy this one for you right now. Humans perceive value through the filters of pain and pleasure. Ultimately, what all of us are seeking is more permanent enjoyment, heaven, and less meaningless suffering. Hell, the more something aligns with these goals, the more valuable it feels. Porn provides massive pleasure and it allows you to avoid any pain in the moment. We all know it because we've been there. Therefore, claiming it has no value is basically a delusion. It's also ignoring the fact that 3/4 of men in the US regularly consume something that apparently has no value. Come on. But if you genuinely believe that, which is your right, as soon as that idea gets challenged, which it inevitably will, just like I did, you'll most likely snap right back to square one. Since you didn't actually take the time to build the discipline and the self-awareness necessary for long-term recovery, your whole journey is based on a perspective. And we all know how fast perspectives can change. It's a very weak approach. I know some might also consider a character trait like discipline as only an idea, but at least it's backed up by an undeniable stack of proof through action. Plus, by focusing on changing the story around porn instead of changing the story around who you are, you're also missing out on the incredible opportunity of building mental skills that will serve you for a lifetime in any other important area of life. It's a much stronger approach to grow progressively and remind your subconscious mind that you are in control of your actions and that you're capable of staying away from it despite the amount of pleasure it can provide. Instead of deceiving yourself into a delusion, embrace the fact it's going to give you pleasure and then go do something better. This creates a more solid foundation and the return on investment is much higher. Now, if any of you NoFap people disagree, I would love to hear you in the comments. I'm not seeking to be right here. I'm seeking the truth. So that's how we challenge each other. That's how we grow together. So I would love to read your comments. Now, the second belief that is killing the souls of my brothers out there is that you must never ever masturbate ever again or you're a loser. What kind of bullshit is that? Alright, let's break it down. If you assume porn has no inherent value, then if you come back to it, you would see yourself as simply stupid. But if you make the promise of never ever masturbating ever again, then relapsing makes you feel like a weak, undisciplined man that cannot be trusted. If you can't even trust yourself in your own actions, why would anyone else trust you? The stronger this self-image becomes, the more likely you are to relapse. The more you relapse, the more you feel ashamed. The more you feel ashamed, the more likely you are to watch porn to escape that difficult feeling, and so it goes. Brother, if you relapse in the past days, let's face the truth. You lost control, it hurts like a bitch, and that's okay. We've all been there way more times than you can imagine. Embracing it sucks. But pretending like you'll never ever do it again always ends up sucking even more. Now let's do a little thought experiments. Let's look at it from a different perspective. If you simply view masturbation as one of nature's gifts and porn as an optional modern tool designed to enhance that pleasure, you can allow yourself to schedule mindful moments in advance to reward yourself with that natural pleasure until you create a life so fulfilling and blissful and meaningful that you don't even want it anymore. In that case, jerking off from time to time would make you a balanced, disciplined, because you schedule that shit in advance, and authentic man who is comfortable with and enjoys all parts of his nature. Listen, it's just a story in both cases. You choose, my friend. Again, very important note. I am not encouraging porn consumption. But what I am saying is that shaming yourself for doing it is only making the situation worse. The goal here is to shrink porn into irrelevance. The less space it holds in your consciousness, the better. It will always be an option, just like drugs are an option, but that's okay because you won't need it. You'll create a life so blissful that no substance or distraction could ever compete with it. That's the goal. Until you get to that point, however, you will fuck up multiple times. And by the way, that's okay because failure is information. You learn faster by failing often until you reach a point where your failures become irrelevant compared to the size of your wins. Until then, however, here are 4 steps on how to turn the curse of relapsing into your greatest blessing. Step number 1, identify your relapse triggers in your external environment. What do I mean by that? Note down when and where you tend to relapse most often. In my case, it was right after lunch in the afternoon slump, especially because it was my first meal of the day, so I just had a crush in energy. Another time, obviously, like most of us, is right before going to sleep. So where did it happen most often? Well, in my bed or in the bathroom. Now, step number 2, recognize your mental emotional patterns, meaning the state you're in, the internal state, when it happens. So note down how you tend to feel about an hour in the last hour before a relapse. What emotions or mental perspectives or thoughts you tend to experience most often when it happens. In my case, it was a foggy brain. I couldn't really focus. I was tired. I lacked inspiration and I was distracted from my long-term goals. And step number 3 is you identify the opposite state. So literally note down when you feel the exact opposite of your relapse state. To give you a frame of reference, these are moments where the idea of watching porn literally becomes irrelevant. So in my case, it was when I was feeling energized, grateful, inspired, and it often happened during a long walk or when I consumed inspiring content. Step number 4, actually the most important one, schedule a system of habits that will automatically prevent future relapses. What do I mean by that? Guys, this is the ultimate hack, okay? So in your calendar, you're gonna schedule a moment, a habit that will automatically put you in a positive state. So in the opposite states, the ones where porn feels irrelevant, in the moments when you would usually be most vulnerable. So remember how I used to relapse most often right after lunch or before going to sleep, and that's when I feel uninspired and tired? And how going on walks and consuming inspiring content put me in the opposite states? Here's what I did. I literally automatically created a habit of going for a long walk after lunch, listening to a podcast, and then I put an alarm at 10 p.m. every evening where my phone and all my devices would go outside of my room, and all that would be left for me to do is read an inspiring book. This reduced my relapses, literally, I'm not exaggerating, by 90%, and it's automatic. I'm telling you. This is a game changer. Alright, my people, that was all for me today. Hopefully you found this video valuable enough, and even if it was challenging, that you might try some of that stuff out. Again, if you disagree, write that shit in the comments. I would love to read it. That's the beauty of the community we're building. We're all here to grow together. With that being said, whenever you're ready, there are 3 more ways I can help you. Number 1, if you prefer learning by reading, then you'll be happy to hear that this video you just watched is the exact script of only one of the 3 lessons in this week's edition of the Triple Wisdom Wednesdays, which is my newsletter. So every week I share 3 principles that can help you progress faster with less pain. It takes about 10 minutes to read, and it's completely free. So if you want to sign up, the link is in the description. Or if you just prefer learning by watching videos like you just did, then this is the right place to be. You can subscribe. I'll be very grateful. Now, the second way I can help you is that if you're a man and you're just tired of always breaking your promises and feeling ashamed of yourself, then you can join the #1 #1 porn addiction recovery brotherhood in the world. Right now, it's called the Off Porn Academy. The link is in the description as well. We'll be right there waiting for you on the other side. Last but not least, the third way I can help you is that if you don't want to be left behind during the digital gold rush, then you can join the school games where 30.4% of new members made their first dollar online. You can start your 14-day free trial today. The link is in the description. Other than that, thank you all so much for listening. I'm so grateful for y'all. Much love. Take care, and I'll see you here soon. Bye-bye.